like your picks can also discourage that from winners. So at the same time, if you really don't want to have to force yourselves into picks to specifically discourage that, maybe you ban it out. But I'm not so sure. I guess if you ban it out, though, it will open up an extra pick for you as Anarchy. So at the same time, if Anarchy bans Vladimir, I wouldn't blame them. I mean, in today's day and age, I think there's so many bans that you can do, and they open up just like very different possibilities rather than shoehorning in one type of priority pick or anything like that. So it's hard to blame anyone for any type of bans unless you just like ban the first 3 champions or something. So Morgana banned out, and then Thresh picked up, similar to the first game. Here for Anarchy. Meanwhile, winners going Corki. So even with Jinx open, going for that Corki continuously here. Sivir's open too, but maybe Gank Zero just really wants to play with that Corki today. Maybe they want to kind of shift away here from relying too much on Gank Zero. Meanwhile, Gragas is open, so I don't really expect the Nidalee jungle here. Even if it's not Gragas, I expect other junglers than Nidalee. Could happen, but yeah, Gragas is gonna most likely come out. Or Sejuani. Okay, Gragas is still preferred by most junglers, I feel, but Sejuani, of course, has a very different impact, and the likes of Tom can play a very aggressive gank-heavy Sejuani. It really depends on your style, but Gragas basically also, I think, survives better when caught in 1v1 situations against the likes of Rek'Sai. Ooh, Ezreal picked up by Anarchy. So Sivir being passed by both teams. Now, Ezreal could be mid-Ezreal, so we'll wait and see. I mean, Gragas, Jungle, and Thresh don't really tell us too much that it's guaranteed to not be mid. And Rumble being picked up once again. Lego did seem pretty comfortable with that Rumble. He landed some really good equalizers for his team, both in zoning and damage. He had some decent flanks too. So I think that's a decent pickup. So pretty much the same pickups for winners right now, and just waiting to see who's going mid for Mickey to determine what Moon's going to play. All right, so, okay, CV Max. I mean, Hecarim's been banned against him and then finally opened in this last game, and then he still picked Rengar. I think given that last game, first of all, you probably just don't want to pick Rengar because it felt pretty bad. At the same time, I was not a fan of how they picked that Rengar comp. So Hecarim was okay. TF has already been locked in, so TF is mid. I mean, okay, maybe it's ADTF and Ezreal mid. I'm all for that. I'm all for the ADTF coming back, but it's probably Ezreal in that AD bottom lane position with TF going mid. And Hecarim gonna be locked in for top with Ignite and not Smite. Is Moon's Vladimir gonna come back? It's fine. I mean, again, similarly to Lulu, sure, TF has a different, in some ways, much greater impact once you hit level 6 and whatnot, and you can do technically a little bit more damage once you get Lich Bane and items like that. But at the end of the day, you're not going to shove too hard in the early levels either as TF. And Glitterlance actually hurts a little bit more in level 1 through 3. So Vladimir, I think, is a solid pickup for Moon. They played really well with that same composition coming for winners. And I think what I like about winners is that they just won the last game. It's one game to really determine who goes to champions. So why not? Why not go for what you know works? Why not go with what you're comfortable? Meanwhile, Anarchy, I really like that they changed up a little bit, especially with Rengar being swapped out for Hecarim. I think Hecarim is a lot more consistent, also has a lot more carry potential even after building tank. And Mickey's TF, I mean, whenever you pick TF, it's all on those first 2 destinies. We've said that a number of times, and we'll see what he can make happen. Rumble is such a sweet, sweet target for TF and Gragas to gank. And similarly, so is Janna, and to some extent Corki in that bottom lane with Thresh also being available. So Anarchy, all about the ganks happening right now. Winners, all about surviving the lane phase, really. Let's find out. One game to determine who joins Champion Summer 2015. And then we return tomorrow with Group B. Let's jump right into set number 3.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
So, we're in that last game. One of these teams will make it in. They'll be the first amateur team from the Challenger Series to enter into Champion Summer 2015. And then tomorrow we'll have Samsung, the 8th seed of Champion Spring, going up against Prime and Zenix. Now, regardless of whether Prime and Zenix are better or not, IM definitely chose their opponents very well, because while we're waiting for the action to happen here, let me remind people, if you missed it, that IM and Samsung alternated picks on their opponents, basically. So IM and Samsung, they were 7th and 8th seed, and they were seeded into Group A and Group B of promotions or relegations for them, and they got to pick their opponents out of the 4 seeds: Prime, Anarchy, Zenix, and Winners. Now, that was the order that they placed in terms of circuit points from the Challenger Series. Prime first, Anarchy second, Zenix third, and Winners fourth. And while Anarchy and Winners were kind of hyped up by a lot of people, I think partly because they're also completely grassroots teams compared to Prime and Zenix, but they, IM chose, I believe it was Anarchy first, and then, oh, actually, maybe Winners first. Let me try to remember that. Yeah, they chose Winners first, then Samsung chose Prime, and then IM chose Anarchy over Zenix, and Samsung got left with Zenix in their group, and IM convincingly finished both matches 2-0, so IM now back in Champion Summer 2015. Meanwhile, standard start for Hecarim, just clearing a camp before going back to lane. Rumble not shoving it too hard though, so probably gonna miss out on 1 or 2 CS up in the top lane. Leo are really looking to just blow one of these summoners from Moon, and uses the Ghost to try to get the stun, but at that point, all right, you traded Ghosts. That's yeah, I mean, basically Moon didn't really lose out on too much, and he can just keep surviving the harass here. TF's harass at level 1 through 3 is not the greatest. So Mickey's really just trying to shove things up here. Meanwhile, Potato hasn't really done too much other than go through his routes. And Moon looks like he'll be able to at least catch up with CS, if anything, because there's a lot here. He does also hit level 3, so his Tides of Blood will help clear out that wave. So basically, things are actually going to start getting pretty rough for Mickey at some point here, because he wasn't able to get any sort of advantage early. In fact, he has a disadvantage in CS, ever so slightly, but that's going to matter when Vlad can start counter-pushing really hard and have sustain and trade potential. The only time it's going to matter is, like, TF can react to ganks better, right? Because you have Gold Card. So that's the only time where it's really going to matter. Moon seems to have gotten a little over-eager about trading, perhaps, because Mickey was able to bring him down a little bit low, but Moon also started with boots and pots, so he's cool. Mickey's also cool with trading a little bit. He's got Flask and Biscuits to also help his mana issue. Even with blue card against Vladimir, you're going to want to use wild cards as often as possible. And look at this, going over to Rumble. Rumble's such a prime target for ganks, and that lane is going to push up a little bit, but you know, Winners has to know that TF is missing, so he actually walks back. Rumble not going to spot TF anywhere. And Lego's like, oh, okay. Well, I guess nothing happened. Gragas also left the top lane, so nothing did happen. Mickey shows up back in time to pick up some CS here. Now, Rek'Sai showed up for a little bit after going back home, but nothing going to happen bottom lane. Potato's cool with that, though. there's no real pressure for winners to get ganks because they're not the best at responding to ganks. Like, sure, Jen has Howling Gale, and it can work out. Double knockup can work out pretty well, but it is Thresh and Ezreal. So Ezreal will probably dodge out of the knockup, keep putting out damage. Thresh can really change things around with Flay and his death sentence. Top lane is, top lane's actually not too bad because you have the Harpoon from Rumble. You can just slow Hecarim down, he can get knocked up, and Rumble has a lot of 1 versus 1 damage, even AoE damage. But again, it's not like a win condition for winners. In fact, just if you even out in the laning phase, your team fight damage is so massive with Hemo Plague, Equalizer, and just a ton of AoE damage from Corki overall too, that winners is okay with that. So no pressure on Potato really, whereas Lyra is going to want to make things happen. And oh, here's a gank in mid lane, blows the flash, which is a pretty big advantage for winners. Because Moon still has his flash, dodges the gold card at the cost of quite a bit of health. But it does bring down the minion wave a little low, so I think Moon's okay with that. Oh, meanwhile, Mickey goes top right as he hits level 6, but yeah, CV Max was a little too behind. The minion wave wasn't pushed up really well, nor was Lego pushing up in the reverse direction either, so yeah, so you used Destiny and you weren't really able to get anywhere. You got the flash out of Lego 77 though. So Lyra, once again, lots of pressure on this guy to want to go gank, most likely the top lane. You're gonna want to get that Rumble, get a kill for Hecarim so that he can also start snowballing the game for your whole team. Because otherwise, that Destiny is not gonna matter. And because Hecarim doesn't have flash, he has Ignite, but the Harpoon can try to keep him at bay, and so can Equalizer. And so the Destiny will somewhat be wasted, and Vlad will continue to grow, and then the team fights look pretty hopeless for Anarchy. Bottom lane is going to be pretty quiet unless Thresh makes a crazy hook. Lyra can gank bottom lane, but again, I think Rumble's the prime target here, especially when Flash is down. So I don't expect too much action from the bottom lane either. Boots upgraded for Moon first. I really like this against the likes of TF and even Gragas, because Gragas, his body slam isn't the fastest gap closer / stun, and also basically just more mobility when you're against champions that are very skill shot based and or distance based in terms of keeping their distance very accurately for their autos, aka auto spacing. I actually like that term, just for the record. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but anyway, regardless of that, TF again, it depends a lot on his wild cards and pick a card. And if you have a huge mobility advantage, which you're going to, if you have double or your upgraded boots and no boots for Mickey, then you're gonna have a really easy time dodging the skill shots from wild cards, and you're gonna have an easy time keeping your distance from the gold card or the red card coming in from Mickey. And that means you can also go in and out to trade pretty efficiently with your own skills. So I really like this choice from Moon. You're not too eager to upgrade your revolver right away, because TF right now, I mean, he has a Sheen, but it's not the craziest burst you're going to see in mid lane. He's not an assassin. He's not meant to be. So Moon can just go in, Tides of Blood Transfusion, get out before he takes too much damage or something like that. See, so he's trying to get that done, especially with Tides of Blood. He missed right there. The distance wasn't quite close enough. But the threat is there, and basically he can stay safe. Potato it's all the way to the Dragon Pit and keeps Mickey at bay. And he will take the Raptor. He gets the buff from it too. And burrows right away in fear of explosive cast coming in. Snowflower doesn't get that play, and uh-oh, Anarchy bot lane in some trouble. Some poor trades going down. Corki hit level 6, and that's a lot of damage available for the winner's bot lane. Lyra had to use explosive cast defensively. Potato also has his upgraded Cinderhulk. CV Max trying to make something happen, but he's amidst quite a few minions. He does have his W, but he's taking a lot of damage. Overheating from Lego, but Equalizer available for Lego. Ignite available for CV Max too, so a little bit dangerous for both top laners. I don't expect anyone to commit too much. Hecarim does have his ult though, so maybe we'll see him, go for a dive, ult, E, ignite, and then try to get out. Although, I guess then you don't have an escape, so you wouldn't do that either. Dragon going over to Winners. So Winners playing it really well. Again, they prefer the slow game in this matchup. At any point in time between two teams in League of Legends, one team will always prefer the slow game. Or I guess I don't mean that they prefer it over other methods per se, but relatively speaking, compared to the enemy team, they're like, all right, well, this is cool. And Winners is that team right now. And quite frankly, I think they prefer the slow game over a risky game. I mean, sure, any team is going to prefer the 10-0 at 10 minutes, but we're not talking about extremes here. We're talking about overall big picture strategy. So Winners, they don't actually have a gold lead despite having that dragon, because Rumble is actually quite a bit behind in CS. I think that's the biggest thing here, because we don't have any other kills. But Boku does get caught. Monsoon available, but not the ideal positioning for that. Lyra takes the lantern, does get the body slam onto both members. Explosive cast not going to bring Gang Zero back though. A little bit unfortunate that they couldn't get the double kill there, because if he used explosive cast, even with the flash, I think Sangyun would have been able to also get one more hit onto Corki. But regardless, good gank coming in. The body slam picking up the kill for Lyra against Boku. And also assists all around for Sangyun. Sangyun gets caught out. He does Arcane Shift out. And what is this? Gragas was still here. Here comes the TF. Potato's going to get caught with the gold card. The teleport coming in too from Hecarim just to secure something. So teleport a little bit of an overreach, but Anarchy turning things around. So Winners wants the slow and steady game. Anarchy doesn't, like their name says, they want Anarchy in this game. They want some chaos. They're creating that right now in the bottom lane, and that gives them a very slight gold lead, but what it really means is they need to transition this 1K into something greater. And at 12 minutes, like 1K is a good lead. It's not the craziest, so you really have to work to make this mean something more than simply a 1K gold lead. Because if you only have, say, a 2K gold lead at 20 minutes against Winners team comp, then I think Winners will still feel pretty good about how the game's going for them. Especially because Vladimir and Rumble are growing so steadily. Potato is the one who died, and it's not even Gang Zero, the one who died. He's still even on CS. He has his Phage, and he's merely a couple hundred gold away from a Triforce. Anarchy really needs to work for more here. So, what can they do? An obvious thing is obviously next dragon. Anarchy can try to take that. It's not the greatest gold difference, but even without the slight advantage that Winners have, and that can lead to, greater advantages in lane. The other is continuing to focus down onto one lane, destroying that lane, pushing it in, and ending the lane phase, which is the most ideal, because the longer the lane phase goes, the happier that Vladimir is. I mean, Vladimir is a guy who, oftentimes in solo queue, like, you farm even when lane phase is over. That's what you do. You just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and then you regroup once you have, like, 2 core items, and you end the game single-handedly. You can't let Moon do that. So, alright, I like this focus on bottom lane, though. First of all, it's the easiest to push in and end the laning phase with, because you have 2 people. Snowflower trying to bait. Sangyun taking a little bit too much damage there, and a lot of minions left over, though, so TF is going to go back up. Janna didn't have flash, still doesn't. We'll see if Lyra also shows up bottom lane, but look at all these wards from Winners in the enemy jungle. Potato doing really well. Helping with that vision. Oh, they actually did get Boku, though. Looks like he got hooked, and there's the Destiny Gate coming in. Eventually, Gang Zero goes forward to get the kill onto Snowflower. And, I mean, okay, he used Flash. I think that's okay because he was going to die anyway. So I guess he got something out of it. Sang Yoon getting cut out a little bit, but here comes the gold card. Flash forward. Potato gets caught, but the teleport coming in. It's getting stopped up top. I think Hecarim stopped it from Rumble, and Potato will have to run away in his tunnel. Yeah, Hecarim used his ultimate to stop Lego's teleport. Really good on CV Max. Meanwhile, though, Moon says, all right, well, if you're going to end the laning phase, I'm going to end mine too, so that I can just go somewhere else really freely, and you guys don't pressure me too much. So really good reaction by Moon. Because the ideal thing for Anarchy here would have been pushing down the mid lane and then shoving in the, or no, pushing down the bottom lane, excuse me, and shoving in the mid lane so hard that Vladimir cannot last hit safely under tower, even with all that sustain. And then you take the second dragon. Now that can't happen as safely. Winners still have a massive vision advantage around dragon. And they shoved in the mid lane, so it's back to pretty much even footing here for the second dragon, and it's not going to happen as soon as it might have if Anarchy was the only one who took an advantage in the last 2 minutes of the game. Anarchy still has a 1k goal lead, but that's what I'm saying. It's still only 1k despite getting 2 more kills. Winners only getting 1 kill off of that, trading 1 tower for each. They're at the same point that they were 5 minutes ago, and Anarchy cannot accept that. They need to, it needs to just keep rolling for Anarchy. It can't ever stop. Whereas for Winners, it doesn't need to. Snowflower got a little eager. He got displaced by the Howling Gale. Moon a little bit cautious after that ghost. The body slam misses and actually puts Lyra in a tough spot. He has to use explosive cast to divide the enemy team. Winners basically using the Hemo Plague to keep Anarchy at bay. Boku taking a lot of damage, and here comes CV Max, but over eager, one could see Equalizer separating the entire team of Anarchy. There's a missile, one more from Gang Zero. He gets the hit, he gets the kill. Anarchy gets chased away from that mid lane. Sang Yoon does get the kill onto Moon though, and Lego pretty low also. Sang Yoon at about 75% health. Will Winners go for the dragon? I mean, Rek'Sai is at full health. Boku is not. Neither is Lego. Here's a Destiny, and he's actually going to go top. Anarchy says, all right, fine. You know what? Just take the dragon. If we contest it, it's too risky for us to. I think that's the smart play here. Just trade the tower for the dragon. Go for the third dragon. Up to stack number 2 at 20 minutes. Like, it's something you can overcome. It is. But as soon as you get that third stack past 20 minutes, yeah, it gets a little iffy, especially because that first stack, of course, has increased value as the game goes on. Now, yeah, this is really good. Anarchy just, at this point, now that they pushed into tier 2 at top 2, they need to split push like crazy. Hecarim and or Tia. Probably, you know, most likely both of them could split push pretty well. Lyra gonna get spotted, but that's cool. Let's just clear out one ward. That's cool too. It's a fresh one. Now, how well can they split push though? I don't know. Snowflower going for a way predictive hook there. Because Moon can clear so well, and so can Corki and Janna, so if those 3 stay in mid, you know, Rumble can defend a tower alone with Equalizer, and Rek'Sai can do the same. So it's kind of rough for Anarchy, but if they set the tempo for the split push, then they might be able to, you know, keep that gold lead it into a dragon, and then go from there. They have expanded their gold lead a little bit, 2.5 to, or 3k actually for Anarchy, so that's the good news, is that with that tower, they've traded for more gold, a little bit of stats for Winners for more gold, and these are stats that you can get back later too, so you basically have to make sure that you push up the lanes really well until that next dragon, so that you can start getting your own stacks and stats off of the dragon. Stacks and stats. Mickey running away very well from Winners, trying to go for a pincer on him in the bottom lane. And yeah, so you put Mickey in bot, you put CV Max in top, you just keep shoving it out. Just keep it up. Uh-oh. Not if he gets caught, though. Tons of damage coming in from Corki. Flashes away from Potato, though, just in time. Really close call for Mickey. His Ghost just comes back up too after he uses a Flash, so he still has another Summoner spell to escape if he gets caught out. And there's a True Shot Barrage just to keep people at bay. So with the True Shot Barrage and the threat of Death Sentence and Body Slam Explosive Cast, Anarchy successfully takes down the Tier 1 in mid. And I think really a lot of this was because Corki was bottom. I think you just put Rek'Sai bottom, and then, or you know, whenever it pushes up, and then Rek'Sai can regroup with his ultimate. But Corki staying bottom really takes away a lot of your wave clear here in mid against Ezreal, Thresh, and Gragas. And Vlad alone can't really do it, especially if once Ezreal gets more items, like he can just poke down Vladimir, even with all that sustain. So I'd like to see Gank Zero taking a team approach here in that mid lane rather than, you know, standing at bay. I mean, by all means, he's doing a good job of keeping TF at bay. But who's missing out on more damage, right? Winners or Anarchy if TF and Corki are missing? Probably Winners. And Anarchy wanted TF to be separate anyway, so it's not even like they're missing a crucial role in mid. And Winners are basically missing out on a lot more. Anarchy have extended it to 4K now. Lyra has been spotted, but Gank Zero actually trying to get the flank onto Mickey, and Mickey not gonna make it out alive. Oh, he dodges. Oh, there's Explosive Cast, but the Valkyrie over the edge of it. Gank Zero comes in. So I think this is what Gank Zero has been looking for, is that if he gets the kills, he can really hard carry the game with all that damage. Dragon up in 150. TF will be back up, but will this Tier 1 go down? It looks like it might. There's a True Shot Barrage, but Winners doesn't care. They have the minions, they have the damage. Thanks for the overheating. The Equalizer wasn't able to come out in time. Snowflower keeps Potato at bay. The hook doesn't go in. He has to flash out. Another missile accurately connecting onto Thresh. And this does leave CV Max to shove, but the Tier 2's already gone. And he's not going to get really anything done on the inhibitor turret. So Anarchy missing out on a lot of the advantages they took earlier. The gap is now closed back down into approximately 3K. Oh, but look at this. Gank Zero gets caught out by Sangyun and Lyra. Well, Teleport now not serving too much of a purpose because you've still got a mid until Dragon. So then if Hecarim's here, you don't have too much time to go back. Basically clear out all the tunnels for Potato's Rek'Sai. Clear out whatever wards you can, get the vision so that you can set up for the Dragon, and just wait the 40 seconds out. Because Winners is going to want to fight for that Dragon too. Moon already got that Woda, the Will of the Ancients, and then he's looking for that Zhonya. I think he might actually be able to bring it before the Dragon fight, depending on how quickly the fight happens, but it looks like it might be stalled out by both sides here. Especially considering that CV Max doesn't have Teleport. He wanted to protect that Tier 1. Alright, he's going back home. Hecarim needs to start heading down. If he shows up top, that's a clear signal for Winners to go ahead and start this Dragon, and Rumble didn't even need to use his Teleport. You're losing out on so much by Anarchy because you can't touch the inhibitor turret when you're out that far. Hecarim, I mean, moving down now really serves no purpose. Winners a little bit scared though. Moon wasn't there, and Moon actually got cut out a little bit, so they have to use the Equalizer early. There is the lockout of the Iron Solari. The explosive cast pushing people away a little bit, but Boku does get sniped out. Chemo Plague onto only 2 people, but Mickey taking a lot of damage. Hecarim does come in. A lot of people low on Winners. Hecarim chasing down Gank Zero, but Gank Zero putting out a lot of kite damage. Lyra finally comes in for the help. Sangyun's still alive. Lyra is gonna go down, but CV Max cleans up the fight. Moon's still alive. Can he get the kill onto Sangyun? But CV Max comes in, Hecarim, and there is the Mystic Shot to clean up the fight. Anarchy aces Winners and finally gets back some of that lead that they missed out on. Now what's sad is Winners still got the Dragon. That means they still got their 3rd stack. So I think, you know, Winners they're okay with how that happened. Watch here. Moon basically had to use his Ghost early. The Equalizer goes down early, and while so all it did was zone out so that they could secure Dragon. Nice gold guard onto Boku and a nice snipe from Sangin over the wall. The Hemo play goes onto Sangin, so he has to kind of kite from outside. CV Max shows up and completely zones out Gank Zero. Gank Zero successfully flashes away from the onslaught of shadows. But meanwhile, on the top side of the map, Moon was busy trying to kite away from Thresh. At the same time, Sangin was scared to go in for damage, but CV Max shows up. Mystic Shot takes the last hit. And meanwhile, oh wow, Rek'Sai gets caught out by Mickey. Looks like in the enemy jungle. I think he maybe ulted all the way to Dragon Pit. No, maybe not. It doesn't look like it given the ult timing. So, Anarchy expanded their gold lead a little bit, but they really need Dragon stacks at this point. I mean, they also want to stop enemy Dragon stacks, which the best way to do that is to get Dragon stacks yourself. So there is still a lot of pressure on Anarchy. I mean, it looks like they're ahead because, yeah, they are ahead by quite a bit in gold. Uh-oh, CV Max not going to have an escape here. Hey, he does have his ultimate. And Snowflower is coming up. Gank Zero took a lot of damage, but it looks like CV Max not going to survive. The rest of Anarchy showing up a little bit too late. Snowflower, can he be helped? Moon's here, so Lyra just has to use his explosive cast to try to help, but Potato, unaffected by that, goes in for the knock-up on Snowflower. They're going to get the kill. Winners will continue to shove that top lane too. They also want to try to fight and maybe take that Baron. I would watch out a little bit. Ezreal and TF can really poke you out from afar, so yeah. Gank Zero making the correct call, then just going for that top lane here. Nice True Shot Barrage, though, extending that time. So Mickey then just staying, all right, well, let's at least trade here for the mid-tier 2. He does have his Lich Bane. He's not able to take the tower. He stuns Potato, and he'll run away. The top lane tier 1 does go down. And there's a Destiny Gate. Meanwhile, Rek'Sai going top lane. Mickey is going to get caught. There's the Hemo Plague and the Equalize. I don't think he needed to equalize it there, though. The Hemo Plague was going to take care of him. But either way, kill secured. Lego picks it up. And at this point, Winners is winning the game by a lot. It doesn't matter if they're 3K behind. They have map advantage. They have Dragon Stacks advantage. And Vladimir now has his Zonias on top of the Will of the Ancients, which is going to help Rumble at the same time. I mean, you can't stop this Vladimir, right? He's going to pull, and he is going to zone you. Oh, no, he has a shield from Janna for now. He gets stunned by Gragas. Oh, he doesn't find a chance to Zonias, which matters a lot. Equalizer was also down. And Gank Zero going to get chased down. Uh-oh, Blade of the Ruined King, but there's the Ignite. The Fade-Away Ignite by Hecarim. Okay. I still hold true to what I said. Winners was ahead, despite the 3K gold deficit. But they basically got overeager, and Moon thought he was invincible. And they got cut out in a bad fight where they didn't have Hemo Plague or Equalizer. So now Anarchy will get Baron, and I'd say they're slightly ahead after taking Baron. Really depends on how they push with it. And again, I think split pushing is the answer for them right here, and they need to secure this next dragon. If while they have Baron buff, they cannot get this dragon, I lose faith in Anarchy to be able to really win this game and continue the slight lead that they have. Ever so slight. Yeah, sure, 5K gold lead at 30 minutes is pretty decent, but I've been saying this since the beginning. I mean, you look at the itemization too. Thankfully, you've got that locket from Gragas, but the two Frozen Hearts matter a little bit against Corki and Rek'Sai. Mostly Corki, because that means you also deny the passive damage from Corki, because it's every auto attack that you do true damage based on their health. But, you know, aside from that, and with the Blade of the Ruined King too, but aside from that, I mean, Vladimir has no regard for the Frozen Heart. You do have the Zonias on TF though, so we'll see what Mickey can do with that. Sang Yoon has really stepped up this game though for Anarchy. He's been cutting so well, 5, 0, and 8. And he went for the Trinity Force. Proper choice against double AP. Can still help you kite. Just maybe not as crazy effective as an Iceborne Gauntlet in terms of kiting, but also gives you quite a bit of damage too, so. Alright. Meanwhile, Gank Zero is also pretty strong right now. Has that Quicksilver too. So Gank Zero understands that he wants to also dish out a ton of damage, especially in poke, and you can put out so much kiting damage. There's the Destiny used. Gank Zero gets stunned, but Mickey gets knocked up. That's the Equalizer coming in, and he flashes still onto the path of the Equalizer. You can't get out of that. Stuns Potato. There's the Zonia just to stay alive for a little bit longer. CV Max going back in because we do have Sangyun coming in. There's the Onslaught of Shadows, but the Quicksilver and the hook onto Gank Zero. Gank Zero goes down. Sangyun's still alive. He's trying to kite from the outside. There's the Lantern back in from CV Max. A ton of damage coming in. Moon the only one alive as Potato runs away. And Anarchy with a nice fight with that Baron buff. Holy cow. After that Quicksilver, nice death sentence from Snowflower. I love how Mickey said, well, it depends. If Snowflower plays well, we'll win. And Snowflower has made some mistakes here and there throughout the day, but whenever it matters, he gets that clutch hook, he gets that clutch flay, and Anarchy does have a significant lead now. 10k gold lead, regardless of composition. That's going to matter a lot, and if they can secure this dragon, they're well on their way. I mean, now they have much more map advantage too because they cleared out all the tier 2s. They just need to keep up their vision, and now it's really flipped. Anarchy in a matter of 2 minutes, and that's why this match was so interesting to begin with. So we see here, first of all, they kept Vlad low so that Sangyun was able to regroup a lot quicker. Mickey does get caught by quite a bit, but the Explosive Cast and Hecarim also keep Gank Zero zoned out for quite a bit. So Sangyun shows up at full health, and look at that hook right next to Janna onto Gank Zero. That's where everything goes south for winners. You have a nice Teemo play coming in, but Sangyun and CV Max going out afar. Double shield going on to Hecarim from Thresh. And then you go ahead and, oh. Ran out of oil, shut down. Not sure even from who. Not by Corki, because Corki was 6'4" before that. Uh-oh, yeah, Lyra needs to watch out. Yeah, Anarchy, you can be as ahead as you want, but you're human. You can also throw just as hard. You gotta watch out. Now, oh, here we, well, okay, well, that was pretty straightforward. He basically went too far, and oh, he ulted right over to Rek'Sai. So I guess Corki was at 6'4". Huh. Because he definitely got at least an assist or the kill from that one. I didn't see at the very end who picked up the last hit. Either way, though, Anarchy still has the advantage to shove the lanes here, and they just need to keep this up. I mean, it's a long time until Dragon or Baron comes back up. I guess Baron not too long, just about 2 minutes. A little less, actually, I believe. Uh-oh. I think they're really disrespecting the damage coming out from Rumble, though. And Destiny Gate used for an escape, so Mickey's TF not as convincing as his other champions. But the Muramana is finished for Ezreal. He has a Bloodthirster on top of a Blade of the Ruined King. This game, all eyes on Sangyun. And you kind of see that from Mickey's play too. He's like, I'll just split push. That's all I'll do. I'll be the bait with the Zonias. True Shot trying to go onto Moon. Uh-oh, Sangyun getting a little over here. Again, you're disrespecting the damage that can come out from Rumble. He's got a Leandri's Torment. You can't do that. It doesn't. I don't care how much damage you have and how much lifesteal you have. That Flame Spitter will melt your face. All right. Well, Hecarim did teleport in, and it's not a waste because you're trying to pressure this inhibitor, but you can't. Don't try to go for the death sentence. I mean, just use it for pressure, but please, if you're Anarchy, do not go in on that death sentence right now. That is a death sentence for yourself. You really just need to pressure with the death sentence, and that creates just, you know, damage loss while they're hooked, and then you continue to pressure that inhibitor. And okay, well, now that you've pressured it for quite some time, and Baron is up in 40 seconds, you pressure that mid lane, pressure that top lane, and set up around Baron. That's what you want to do as Anarchy right now, because if you can get the second Baron, then that'll lead also right into a second Dragon for you soon after, and then you can take the middle inhibitor again and top or bottom lane, or both, depending on how well your split pushing works out for you. Meanwhile, winners, I mean, you are 10k behind, but again, you have a team fight composition. You have an AoE combo composition, which at any point in the game, I mean, the longer it goes, the higher chance you have of making a comeback. Because that means you just need one good fight to end the game. Because your mid lane is pretty open too. Tier 2 from mid is gone for Anarchy also. So, you know, if we go into 45 minutes plus, winners just needs to ace them once, and they'll be able to shove all the way down the mid lane for the win. Well, depending on the minion wave. Alright, so Destiny is back up for Mickey. Yeah, Lego needs to be the one coming back into bottom lane. He has teleport. And Inhibitor's coming back up, so it looks like Anarchy will just go for the Inhibitor first, try to pressure that in. And then worst case, you can just try to get the Dragon first. CV Max is caught out. He needs to run away. He's actually going back in, Lantern's back out, but he did take a decent amount of damage. Meanwhile, though, that gave time for TF to shove in the Inhibitor turret in bot lane. So it was a little bit dangerous for CV Max, but at the end of the day, if you live, you can get the advantage. Lyra going back home, which, I mean, it's okay. It simply gives winners some time to regroup, but they could. So basically, if Lyra gets spotted going back home, winners could force a fight here really hard, because the biggest displacement in explosive cast is gone. So even with the 10k gold lead, like, you gotta be on edge if you're Anarchy. And Captain's Enchantment coming in for Gragas's Mercury Treads, it looks like. It's pretty reasonable. Ezreal he's really strong right now, 7-0-10. He's pretty fed. Meanwhile, Corki had to go for that QSS because of all the CC on the side of Anarchy that he's missing on a little bit of damage. I mean, Corki has so much AoE and good poke and whatnot. Oh, Elixir coming out too for Sang-Yoon for that last Whisper. He hasn't even upgraded his boots. Sang-Yoon is all about, you know, I'm going to stay so far away anyway and poke and just take advantage of my movement boost from my Triforce. I just want more damage, and I actually respect that. You're basically playing hyper carry Ezreal, and you have to in this composition. Now, with that QSS, I mean, yeah, Corki still has some good base skill damage, and you can poke very well with your ult too. But yeah, there we go. You can solo the Dragon, and Anarchy looks like they'll be doing pretty well here. Meanwhile, winners, again, they just need to last out like 10 more minutes. Because once you get to like 60k, 10k gold lead, not the end of the world. I mean, it still means a lot. It still means a lot, but and you don't see comebacks from that huge of a deficit too often. I mean, we saw one at MSI with SKT, but you can still win because you're such a team fight heavy comp. I mean, you can get a good Hemo Plague and an Equalizer. Oh man, Curiosity killed the cat. So Rek'Sai is not going to be too curious. And alright, well, the Baron has been started. I don't think Anarchy really minds that Rek'Sai's there. Rumble can't leave even with teleport because then the inhibitor's just going to get taken down. Rek'Sai really just wants to steal here. Moon is here. Lyra's taking quite a bit of damage. Lyra's not there. He gets the Lantern over the wall for the smite. And Mickey will... Oh! Mickey gets out! And the Baron actually gets stolen by Potato, sacrificing himself. Wow! Well, Inhibitor still goes down, though. So, props to Mickey. Let's see how the steal happened. I mean, Explosive Cask out. I mean, sure, he comes back in. It's simply just a smite battle, and Potato waiting really well. Explosive Cask was used before to knock them out, so Grox didn't have that advantage. Used it a little bit early because he was also just creating space for himself to escape backwards. You're still 2 inhibitors down, though, for winners. So it's pretty rough for you. but you have Baron, so you gotta just hold on to dear life here at the top inhibitor turret. And it's gonna be hard because Mickey's like, hey, I'm back, full health. Gonna shove in the mid lane. That turret at the top inhibitor is also pretty low because of all that split pushing beforehand. Rek'Sai going behind. Anarchy saw him. So, uh-oh, Potato, a little bit too far ahead. Here comes the teleport from Rumble, though. Potato is still alive. He's still alive, and there's the equalizer to disrupt Anarchy. Moon gets the kill onto Snowflower. Sangyun is really low. Moon gets the second kill. Lego uses his Zonias. Moon uses his Zonias. CV Max can't get the kill just yet. Potato zoning out Mickey. Can Mickey get out with Destiny and Gate? He will get out, but Moon eventually goes down to CV Max. Mickey still alive. It doesn't matter if they got Sangyun, because Mickey is now super strong, and so is that Hecarim. That's an ace for Anarchy, and they will push in for the game. Mickey looks like he lost the game, but he's actually about to win the game here for Anarchy. Winner so close to trying to create one more window for a comeback, and Anarchy will win this game. 40 minutes in, 25-13, a 12K gold lead, 13K gold lead, and Anarchy secures their spot in Champion Summer 2015. Wow. Well,